All right, everybody. Welcome back to Counterculture. We're on week something. I don't know. I already kind of forgot what week we're at. But today we are talking about Sabbath, and we have an extremely special guest. It's super last minute. She's moving this week, but she's willing to be with us today to talk through Sabbath. And it's funny because we were in a high school team meeting, and we were talking about counterculture. Cami, your name was brought up. Oh, yeah, this is Cami, by the way.
I'm Cami.
That's with us. And Cami's awesome. She's been around at UCU for a long time, leads a junior girls group.
Yes, juniors. Oh, my word. Yeah, I thought you were going to say junior high.
Oh,
I'm like, no, we're past that.
Yeah. Shout out to your group.
Yeah.
And let's talk through Sabbath. So tell us what you and your family do to practice Sabbath.
I feel like it's funny to me that my name gets brought up a lot of times when Sabbath gets brought on to different conversations. And I think more than anything, it just goes to show how many people don't do Sabbath because I'm like the one person people are like, oh yeah, I know someone who does Sabbath. We do not do it like well. We love it and we feel passionate about it, but it's something that I think in general Christians miss out on. It's something that we don't practice. But so our family started practicing Sabbath. We like to call it Shabbat because we're fancy like
Why's
that. Well, that's the Jewish, the Hebrew form. The Hebrew word for Sabbath would be Shabbat. And I think honestly, because we started doing it, we did, my husband and I did a video series on, I think it was called The 7-Day Family and how to live in rhythm of 7 days. And it talked a lot about how God very intentionally designed our world in a certain amount of days to really model for us what our life should look like, which I love asking kids like, so why did God rest on day 7? Was he tired? And they're like, no. And you're like, no, he wasn't tired. He was trying to model for us that this is an important part of our life. And so we found ourselves in a place just like many people, high schoolers, all ages, honestly, just feeling tired and strung out and kind of like Groundhog Day every day of doing the same thing. And we were just like, there's got to be something different from this. And so we started trying to practice. It sounds funny that it's a practice. It's one of the 10 commandments, but it's something that takes discipline to practice Sabbath. And there's lots of ways that you can do it. In the Jewish tradition, they would do it on the evening of sundown Friday through Saturday at sundown. But for a lot of us in the Western world, we have church on Sunday. So a lot of people will do Sabbath or Shabbat, like Saturday night through Sunday night, 24 hours. We try to do 24 hours. It doesn't always work. And it's very messy, but it has been life-changing for our family. Life-changing. Do you practice Sabbath, Cooper?
Well,
You are
probably
a
not
pastor on staff.
Yes.
No. Guilt, shame.
Probably not as well as you guys do. But yeah, what I do, and I want to ask like the specifics of what you do.
Yeah.
I'll share kind of what I do is like, and I've been really trying to implement this the last like few months of I work. I have Friday and Saturday off, and so one of those days I won't do anything work related. I won't check email or at least respond to email. Like I won't like work on anything worship pastor related. I'll try to spend as much or as little time with people as I need. Like sometimes I'm like, I need solitude. I need solitude.
That's one of our practices. Yes.
Right. And other times, so I try to do things that will encourage my soul. Obviously, spend time with the Lord, but also do things like even like cleaning. Sometimes for me, it's therapeutic and it's helpful.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like work. So it's like anything that doesn't feel like work is what I'll try to do on at least Friday or Saturday. But for your family, like, what does it? You guys are a little bit more intense. Intense is a bad word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys?
I love what you said though about like we talk a lot about in our family things that are like life-giving. So in the Jewish tradition, they're a lot more rigid, like to the point where still in Israel, like you can't operate an elevator on Sabbath because that's considered work. So
it's a bit extreme.
It's very extreme. But for us, we talk a lot about like what's like life-giving to you. So for my son, like jumping on the trampoline is very life-giving to him. So for me, that's the opposite of life-giving. But we talk about things that fill you up and take care of your body and all those types of things. But honestly, the word Shabbat literally translated just means to stop. And so we say like we stop, I think there's like 3 W's we keep in mind. Like we stop worrying, we stop wanting, and what's the third one now? I'm going to forget. Working, yes. Thank you. Stop worrying, wanting. So a lot of the, like literally I will not allow myself to buy anything on Shabbat. Like because you're saying that where life is right now is good because of what Jesus did for us.
Yeah.
That even this is painful for me, but I will not make my bed on Sabbath because that's the first thing I do in the morning. And for me, that is like a reminder to be like, no, I do not need this in order to feel happy and fulfilled. I can stop and I'm going to say, Jesus is enough. And I can stop worrying about all the things I need to get done for a day. And this is a practice. It does not happen naturally.
Oh, yeah. Discipline.
Yeah, it's a discipline. And it's not a rule, and it's not something that we do to earn God's favor, but it is a discipline. So some things that we do that we try to make it holy, which just means like to be set apart. For my kids, they do not have to ask for certain foods. So like I will put out specific snacks like on the table, because one of the things that I hate as a mom is to be asked all day long for another snack. So I already have the day before food set out, and it's like, you don't have to ask. You go get whatever you want. Yeah. We have a specific practice on Saturday night where we have a dinner. We get out very holy, set apart things, special dishes and candles. We have a blessing, we say. We sing Shabbat Shalom, all of those fun things, and one dinner that are holy. They only come out on Saturday night. The kids can have dessert first if they want dessert first. That it's just something that makes it feel set apart from every other day of the week for us. It doesn't have to be fancy. So we try to rest, take naps. Like you said, don't do work. Sometimes serving together as a family is very life-giving, so it can look like work, but sometimes like coming to church and serving in Eastview Kids together is part of our Sabbath time together. The hard part about Sabbath is learning how to say no to things. Like you're like, somebody asked me to go do this. I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. But I really need to rest because I can feel it. My daughter literally by like Tuesday or Wednesday, I would say at least once a month is like, oh, is it almost Shabbat?
Yeah.
Like she knows, like she needs it. Like her body has learned the rhythm of like needing to rest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it looks different for everybody. And it's something that it's not perfect for us. There's some weeks where we completely miss it. And I'm like, oh, wow, we got like an F this week for Sabbath. But then once again, we just get to remind ourselves, like, it's not about pleasing the Lord. Like the Sabbath was made to serve us. We weren't made to serve the Sabbath.
Right.
So it's up and down and all around. But like you said, it's a discipline that you have to commit to because we were not made to be the way we are and working all the time, all day long. And I know that that's not something just as a mom or a dad. In our high school small group, it's something that gets brought up, I think, almost every single week is just, I'm so tired.
Oh, yeah.
I have so much homework. I have sports. And I'm like, what other people look at you as a Christian and your response when they say, how's life going? And you're just like, I'm exhausted. I can barely be in this conversation. I want to like go to bed. I have homework to do. And think, that's the life that I want to have.
Yeah.
And that's what we're supposed to be doing. Sorry.
Right. No, well, I wanted to say, so to what you said, something I want to go back to. So if you could, so high school students listening, they're hearing you talk about how it's life-changing. Mm-hmm. You said, but give like a 30-second elevator pitch on why they should do
Sabbath.
I
think because if you truly believe that Jesus can offer you a supernatural life of abundance and flourishing, then you can trust that he has a supernatural rest for you that the world cannot offer in any way, shape, or form. And he has outlined that very clearly in scripture. And he even says, I love the verses that say, take every measure that you possibly can and work as hard as you can to not miss this opportunity, because there are people who will miss out on it because simply, not to offend anybody, but you're just too lazy to make this practice. Ironically, you're too lazy to rest well in the Lord and to work and think ahead of how I'm going to do this. So I think if you want to live an abundant life, I mean, we've been talking about this in high school. Like if you want to move, we talked about it all throughout Move of this rest, then it's something that you need to make a part of your practice for yourself so that you can live that full life that only Jesus can offer.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think even for high school students who are currently logging 0 minutes and 0 seconds of Sabbath, and probably a lot of them are. Like, I think that even starting with taking 3 hours on a Saturday to rest, to stop, maybe put your phone down or put on airplane mode, to delight, to go for a walk, 100%. To grab like a drink, like it's from Starbucks, and maybe sit and have a good conversation with a friend or a parent or someone or grandparent. Just finding ways to live life with the Lord and stop.
And stop.
You said, stop from worrying, wanting. Yes.
Yep. That's so good.
And I think that high school students, I hope that today was just a helpful encouragement for you guys on what it looks like to practice Sabbath as we continue to practice Jesus. So, Cami, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I could talk about Sabbath all day long, so you just stop me right now.
No. Well, maybe we'll do a whole podcast on Sabbath one of these days. But, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next time. And yeah, have a great rest of your week.
Be countercultural.